Hello. So what I'm doing today is a review of a new light that I bought. It is the Glofish color change light. Now, the reason that I went ahead and went with yet another Glofish light, even though, ideally I would have preferred something else, was simply because it was the only light I could find that didn't cost an insane amount of money that had the ability to have the white and blue mix and that sort of thing, and be able to produce that. The problem that I have with a lot of the other lights is that they end up doing the white light look, which is great for a planted freshwater tank, but when you have, a non-planted tank, or you're trying to create a certain look and effect, like in the case here where I'm trying to kind of, emphasize the Stargate there with the blue lighting and everything, give it that sort of effect and look, then it's just really, it doesn't really create a good look for the tank, because when you're doing that, it tends to kind of clash, because I've experimented with the white and blue mix on the old tank with the old tank lighting system, and I just really didn't like it very much. So anyways, what I ended up doing was going ahead and getting the Glofish color change LED, in part because the blue Glofish LED that I had was only an 8-inch light bar, and although, for what it was, it looked pretty good, it ended up having some serious coverage issues. It didn't have quite the spread because it was a smaller size light. This light bar is a bit bigger. Hang on a second here. You can see it there from end to end. So it is a bit bigger, so it tends to have a little bit better of a spread. Although I would say it is still a little bit light for a 20-gallon long. Maybe if I had a standard 20-gallon, it would be a better suited light. Now, there have been a lot of complaints in the reviews that I read about, maybe it's not as bright or intense on the color change light. And after having played with it a little bit, I kind of have to agree. I do feel the light is a bit weak. I mean, obviously, for $20, I don't necessarily expect to have something that's going to be, growing corals or anything like that, like my hydras do on my reef tank. But, I would expect something that could at least provide, a decent light for the tank as far as, filling it out so there's not shadowing and it just, decent lighting. So it's kind of a trade-off, because with the blue Glofish 8-inch LED, I do get a more intense blue than I do with this light that I have on right now. But the problem is that the spread isn't as wide, so there tends to be more issues with it. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead. This is kind of the white and blue mix, which is the brightest light that's available on this tank, or excuse me, on this light. And so what I'm going to do is to kind of go through and just go through the different cycles on this light, just so you can kind of see the differences of what it offers with the color change. And honestly, in my opinion, most of them are basically worthless. They don't really show up very well. So basically, you've got your white and blue mix like here that does okay, not great. You've got the blue light look, which actually doesn't look too bad, especially if you're trying to get that sort of, night light look for it. And then you have another, dimmer function, and then the last function is basically worthless, because you might as well just have your lights turned off for all it shows up. But I'm going to go ahead and run through the 4 different cycles just so you can see what it looks like. So, just a moment. Okay, I turned the light off on this one just because it creates a better effect with it. This is the blue light, night light sort of look for the tank, and actually, it kind of does an okay job, particularly with the bubbler there, and when you turn off the regular yellow light in the room. So, not a bad look for the tank. So, I'll go to the next one. Okay, this is more of a muted look, so basically all the lighting you're seeing is coming from that blue LED bubbler. It does, sort of produce that sort of nifty glow gravel effect, but really about useless for anything else. And this is the one where there's kind of the variable intensity, and it kind of fluctuates through spectrum and intensity, dims up, dims down. So you can kind of see how it goes up and down and that sort of thing. So anyway, this is just kind of a basic overview of the different color change light settings. And I'll kick it back over to the white and blue mix, the standard one, in just a second. Okay, so we're back to the regular light here and the mix that we have, you know, the white and blue mix. And once again, kicking on the overhead lights just so it kind of creates more of the daylight effect here for these fish, since they don't get a lot of light otherwise, other than just whatever's in the tank and the light in the room, since there's not a lot of lighting in this room. So anyways, this is just sort of the regular look for the tank and the kind of different color change. So would I recommend this light? Quite honestly, I have mixed feelings. You know, for $20 on the one hand, you know, it's not a bad light and it will light up the tank. But if you're wanting a sort of brighter look for your tank, I would look maybe at something else like a light bar that has a little more power to it and everything. But as I said, my problem is that too often the light bars for freshwater tanks, their focus is all on the white light, which I don't like for, you know, more of an artificial setup like this one is. You know, once again, you know, for planted tanks or whatever, yeah, the natural white light looks great, but they just don't offer the flexibility. I did look into the AI Prime freshwater and some of those other things, but quite honestly, the price on those for a non-planted tank, it's absolutely insane. I can't justify spending over $200 on a light for a non-planted tank. I mean, that's just, you know, the definition, in my opinion, of a fool and his money are soon parted. So anyways, this is just an overview of the color change Glofish LED light and just kind of the results it's produced. I would say, you know, it's probably, you know, worth about the 20 bucks or so that you pay for it. But if you're looking for something that offers a little more brighter light, a little more intensity, what I would actually do ideally would be maybe get 2 of those 8-inch blue Glofish LEDs and then put one on each side of the tank, and then it'll really light up this tank. And just if you're wanting to get that really, you know, deep blue look that will match with the blue LED bubbler there. So I might end up going that route. So anyways, that's all I've got, and thanks for watching.